A cowboy walks into a saloon and everybody stops and stares at him because he's got a brand new pair of boots on. And these aren't just any boots. These are the finest boots in the West. They're called gator eye boots. Why? Because they're made out of gator skin and they cost an entire month's salary for a pair. So this cowboy is obviously a rich man. He sits down on a stool and orders himself a whiskey. As he's getting his drink, all the other cowboys in the saloon are staring at him, sizing him up and down. Finally, one of them yells, "Hey, you, get over here!" The cowboy looks around to see who said that. Everybody's looking at him, so he walks over to the other guy and says, "What did you say?" The guy says, "I said get over here so we can take your boots off." "Why would I do that?" the cowboy says. "'Cause we want to see how much money you're carrying," the guy says. The cowboy takes his foot off the stool and gives it a kick. "All right, you win," he says. "You get my boots." He kicks off his boots and hands them over to the guy who said, "Give me your money or your boots." Then he turns to the rest of the cowboys and says, "Now, who wants to buy a pair of brand new gator eye boots? They're practically brand new. I only wore them from the boot shop to here." And as the barkeep is ringing up the sale, the cowboy puts his foot up on another stool, like he's waiting for something. And the other cowboys are looking at each other, wondering what the heck is going on. So the first cowboy who asked for the boots grabs the other boot and starts to put it on. It doesn't fit. He tries as hard as he can, but it just doesn't fit. All the other cowboys start to crowd around him, trying to jam their feet into these boots, but none of them can get their feet in the boots. They're all too small. Finally, one of the smaller cowboys says, "How the hell are we supposed to get these boots on?" And the cowboy who was sitting on the stool with his one boot on says, "This is where you come in, partner." So they all look over at him and say, "What do you mean?" He reaches down and grabs the other boot and puts it on the guy's foot who had tried to steal his boots. "You go ahead and pull these on," the cowboy says. "Why would I do that? Those boots don't fit me," the guy says. "Just try," the cowboy says. So he pulls on the boots. They're a little tight, but they fit. The cowboy smiles and says, "Thank you kindly for buying my boots, but there's one thing you have to do for me." "What's that?" the guy says. "You have to take this here horse outside and put him down." The guy says, "What? That's not funny. You can't be serious." But the cowboy's already gone. He's walked past the front door and he's out on the street with a rope in his hand. And the rest of the cowboys are chasing after him, yelling, "Hey, get back here with that rope, you son of a—" But he's already gone. He's rounded the corner and disappeared. The last thing the other cowboys see before they turn the corner and head back into the saloon is the horse that the cowboy had brought in with him. And the horse has a sign around its neck that says, "Do not feed."